Okay, so cat's out of the bag. I am on an episode of Beta Squad with Idris Elba, and it is the night before, and I'm freaking out. I mean, I've calmed down a little bit, but when I saw the trailer, which was sent to me by some other people in the episode, I started shaking, and my heart started racing, and I was trembling, and I was on the verge of tears. Yeah, this is all crazy. Yeah, why am I nervous? Why am I scared? I have never done anything like this before. This is going to be the most amount of people that have ever seen me in my life, and that is terrifying. My basis right now for how many people are going to see this is the fact that Beta Squad has, last time I checked, like almost 12 million subscribers. And the last Guess the Identity episode that they did with Ed Sheeran, that one, last I checked, and this was months ago, but last I checked had 13 million views. So, I mean, the most amount of people that know me now are, I mean, I have like 1,600 followers on Instagram. So at least that number. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I'm sure it's exciting. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure I am freaking out more than I really need to right now. But the thing that scares me is just like the unknown. There are so many unknowns with this. I have never been a part of a production this big. So, you know, you always hear like reality TV stars or people that have been on reality TV shows are like, oh, they edited it weird, and that's how, like, that's not how it came off, but like that's how it was like designed, and that's how it was cut, and blah blah blah. And so like, I think what I'm scared of is, you know, obviously I went into this with good faith, but like, what if they cut it up and make me look stupid? And I genuinely am like nervous that like this is all an elaborate ploy to make me look stupid because everything centers around me. Yeah, I feel like I'm in the Truman Show, and like everything is just a giant ploy to make me look stupid in front of Idris Elba. Which, saying it out loud sounds stupid, I know that. All right, let's go back to how this all happened. I am a part of a casting agency website. Yeah, in about February-ish, I saw a casting, and it was like, I think it said something, this might not be correct, but I think it said something like American actor needed for YouTube series. That's all it said. And I was like, I'm American. When you're on Talent Talks, you just kind of like apply to everything, that any brief that you fit, like you just like, and if you can make the dates, you just apply. So I just applied for everything. I didn't even know what it was. Like, I'm so new to this world of like acting and like signing up for things and being extras and things like that. And yeah, so I just like applied, and then I got an email asking me to do a self-tape. And because I'm not a trained actor, I have never done a self-tape before. And I was just kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Let me throw my ass into this. Also, around the same time, I had been like very severely obsessing with Heated Rivalry. And I was really inspired by the performances of Connor Storrie and Hudson Williams, as everyone who has watched and obsessed over Heated Rivalry has done. And in particular, I was really amazed by Connor Storrie's facial expressions. And if you were a super fan like I am, you can see when he's in Ilya mode, and you can see when he's Connor Storrie. And the way that he can control his face is unlike anything I've ever seen in an actor before. Side note, I think Hudson Williams' performance as Shane is one of the best portrayals of, you know, a high-achieving autistic person. I love his performance. I at the time I was just very in awe of Ilya's Jesus Christ, of Connor Storrie's performance as Ilya, and just how just subtle changes to his face made him go from like this lovable, sweet boy to like Ilya Rozanov, you know, this like hardcore hockey player that's supposed to be like Ovechkin, right? And even though at the time I didn't consider myself an actor, I do now. I've only decided this like literally a week ago, so I'm still trying to get used to the words out loud. But at the time, I didn't consider myself an actor. But I was still so interested in his facial expressions that I started to practice facial expressions in the mirror. And like I didn't really have an end goal, or I didn't really know what I was doing or trying to achieve or anything, but I was just so inspired by him that I was just like, can I control my face like that? Can I do what Connor Storrie does, even though he is, you know, obviously very well trained, and I'm just like a comedian, kind of improviser, writer, whatever I am. I'm an artiste and a creative and a performer. You can see that I'm still not used to calling myself these things. But anyway, yeah, so I was just doing that. I was really inspired by that. And so when I got an email to do an audition tape, and I had never done one before, and also the brief asked me to be like a serious kind of person, I was just kind of like, I've never done this before, but let's see what happens. And I was like, let me just try. Let me just like really try. So I did it. I came up with a character, and I came up with a premise for a monologue. First of all, I was not about to memorize a monologue. My memorization skills at this juncture are shit. That wasn't going to happen in the amount of time that I had to overturn this, and obviously with all, you know, life things that I was doing. I wasn't about to learn a monologue. My plan was to just like get like a premise for a monologue and then wing it. And that's what I did. I had to play a Hollywood starlet who was auditioning for a role. So I had to do this tape as Loretta Steel, which is what I ended up calling her, which is the same character I ended up bringing to the Beta Squad. Yeah, I had to be, I think the prompt, or I don't even know the terms for it, but the brief I was given was like, yeah, like I'm, you know, Hollywood starlet, like really accomplished, like really, you know, lots of medals and accolades and all this stuff. Actors don't get medals, that's sports people. Anyway, you know, I had to play this like kind of really full of herself, very like over it kind of like actress who thought very highly of herself. And then I had to play her playing a role. I did the audition tape, and I remember like watching it back and being like, I don't think this is that bad. Like, I don't know if it's just me tooting my own horn. I do tend to be very hard on myself, and I try to be very like logical in my criticism. But I was like watching it, and I was like, you know, it's not half bad. Like, get me a couple of lessons, get me to really sink into what it is to be an actor. And like, I was like, I feel like I can do this. Anyway, so I sent it in, not thinking anything of it. And then I get an email saying that, yeah, they need me. I can't remember if that first email said it was Beta Squad. At the time, I had never heard of Beta Squad. So I had no idea who they were. I had no idea what they were about. But the email did not say anything about Idris Elba.